Hey there, it's CJ Willie and I'm cracking a pack. Today is pack number 9 in my Magic the Gathering Core Set 2021 bundle. The focus of the video is what is your pick? As I crack the pack, I will discuss which card would be my pack 1 pick 1. My viewpoint will be from a very casual Magic the Gathering player perspective. It will be a kitchen table, having fun with friends opinion. So check out my preview video on my Core Set 2021 bundle. I have added the link to the preview video in the description below. Let's make sure we don't have a foil. Looks like we have a foil. So land, foil, rare, uncommon, 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 rare, foil, land, and hope that I got it correct. All right, first card is Fear of the Bitten. Single red mana, enchantment, aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and attacks each combat if able. This goes really well in the white-red aggressive deck. You're going to be playing cheap creatures, an enchantment for a very cheap cost of a single red mana. And even though it has to attack each turn if able, that's no big deal because in red-white, that's exactly what you want to do. Next up is Llanowar Visionary, 3 mana, 2 and a green, elf druid at 2/2. When Llanowar Visionary enters the battlefield, draw a card, tap, and add a green to your mana pool. So a combination of Llanowar Elves and Elvish Visionary. I think this is a great common to play in green. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card, which is great, and then you can tap to add green and mana ramp into bigger, beefier creatures. Next up is Warded Battlements, 3 mana, 2 and a white. It's a wall at 0/3. It's a defender. Attacking creatures you control get +1/+0. Even though itself can attack, giving an extra point of power to your attackers is a really great ability in an aggressive deck. Next up is Masked Blackguard, 2 mana, 1 and a black. Human Rogue at 2/1. It has flash. You can pay 2 and a black. Masked Blackguard gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I don't mind playing Masked Blackguard. 2/1 for 2, isn't that great? But having the ability to pump it allows you to have a great mana sink toward the end of the game. Next up is Frost Breath, 3 mana, 2 and a blue, instant. Tap up to 2 target creatures. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. So I can tap down those creatures on my opponent's turn. They're going to stay tapped down before attack step and during the next turn as well. Save you some damage and get through that last bit of damage at the end of the game. Next up is Pridemalkin, 3 mana, 2 and a green. It's a cat at 2/1. When Pridemalkin enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. In the white-green +1/+1 counters deck, this does a ton of work. If you set it up correctly and you have a creature on turn 1, a creature on turn 2, you played Pridemalkin, put a counter on one of those creatures or Pridemalkin itself. If you've got a Conclave Mentor, now you're doubling those counters. And a common creature that gives any of your creatures with a +1/+1 counter on it, trample, is just added advantage. Next up is Blood Glutton at 5 mana, 4 and a black. It's a vampire at 4/3. It has lifelink. I think it only works really well in the white-black life gain deck. There are a lot of added payoffs for gaining 3 or more life. Maybe it blocks, gains you some life. Maybe it attacks and gains you some life. And it's going to trigger some of those incremental life gain abilities. Next up is Eldalian Arcanist, 2 mana, 1 and a blue, Merfolk Wizard at 1/3. You can tap it and add colorless. Spend this mana only to cast an instant or sorcery spell. This card is extremely narrow. I don't play it in any blue deck other than the blue-red spells deck. It makes your instants and sorceries cheaper. You can get them out quicker. Our first uncommon is Obsessive Stitcher at 1 generic mana, 1 blue, 1 black. It's a human wizard at 0/3. You can tap it, draw a card, then discard a card. You can also pay 2 generic mana, 1 blue, 1 black, tap it, sacrifice Obsessive Stitcher, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Being able to loot through your deck, discard maybe some of your bigger creatures that have a high converted mana cost, and then later on for 4 mana, sacrificing Obsessive Stitcher and bringing that creature directly to the battlefield is a great strategy. Our next uncommon is Canopy Stalker. 4 mana, 3 and a green. It's a cat at 4/2. Canopy Stalker must be blocked if able. When Canopy Stalker dies, you gain 1 life for each creature that died this turn. I'm not as high on Canopy Stalker for a couple of reasons. First is, it does say it must be blocked if able, but it doesn't say all creatures must block it if able. They can chump block it, no big deal. The second part is it only has a toughness of 2, so chances are it's going to get blocked, it's going to die. Yeah, maybe you gain 2 life because your creature and their creature died, but it just doesn't seem to have as much value as I'd like. Our final uncommon is Siege Striker, 3 mana, 2 and a white. It's a human soldier at 1/1. It has double strike. Whenever Siege Striker attacks, you may tap any number of untapped creatures you control. Siege Striker gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature tapped this way. By going wide, you're going to have plenty of creatures that when you attack with Siege Striker, you can tap a couple of your creatures that would potentially die in combat and make Siege Striker a 3/3 a double strike. Okay, will we get a great rare or a mythic rare? We have Demonic Embrace. 3 mana, 1 generic, 2 black, enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+1, has flying, and is a demon in addition to its other types. You may cast Demonic Embrace from your graveyard by paying 3 mana and discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs. I think it's a really fun card in that if they kill your creature, you can pay 3 life, discard a card, bring it back, and enchant another one of your creatures. I think in the white-black deck it's going to be awesome because you're going to have life gain, so that negates the paying of 3 life to get the card back. And I think in limited it can be a bomb because it can just be a repeatable effect. Okay, and then our foil is Sky Scanner. 3 generic mana, artifact creature Thopter at 1/1. It has flying. When Sky Scanner enters the battlefield, draw a card. In the right deck, like blue-green, drawing a second card triggers a bunch of abilities on cards within that color combination. Even in the blue-red spells deck, where sometimes drawing another card triggers some abilities as well, Sky Scanner can do some work. Okay, my favorite card, or best card out of the pack, I'm going to go with Obsessive Stitcher. It's definitely a card that if you pack one, pick one you can build around it. There are plenty of creatures in both blue and black that have a very high converted mana cost but have a great payoff. Being able to get those into your graveyard early and utilize Obsessive Stitcher's ability to get them onto the battlefield puts you so far ahead in the game. Black also has Rise Again that can return a creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. It's a great strategy because you can move through your deck quickly, get the cards that you need into the graveyard, and then be able to reanimate them and go in for the win. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Take some time to tell me in the comment section what was your favorite card or the best card out of the pack. Until next time when I'm back to crack pack number 10, my final pack in my Magic the Gathering Core Set 2021 bundle in What is Your Pick?